everyone. This is Group 5, and we are presenting on conversion of Haem into bilirubin. As we all know, Haem is a component of hemoglobin found in the red blood cells, which are responsible for transporting oxygen. However, red blood cells do not live forever. They have a lifespan of about 120 days. When they become old or damaged, they are broken down into organs like the spleen, liver, and bone marrow. During this process, hemoglobin is split into globin and Haem. The globin part is reused as amino acids, while the Haem undergoes a series of reactions. It is gradually converted into bilirubin and then into bilirubin, which is eventually removed from the body. This process is very important because it helps the body recycle useful substances like iron and safely eliminate waste products.
So with the breakdown of the red blood cells live for about 120 days. And after this period, they become old and less flexible. So they are removed from the circulation, and their destruction occurs mainly in the spleen as well as the liver and the bone marrow, where the macrophages break them down. Also, during this process, the hemoglobin inside the cells, the red blood cells, splits into two parts. So it splits into the globin part, which is also called the protein part, and the Haem part, which is also called the non-protein part. So with the globin part, the globin is broken down into amino acids, and these amino acids are recycled in the body to form new proteins. Then the Haem undergoes further breakdown to eventually form bilirubin, which is important for bowel formation.
Haem to bilirubin. This step is the first stage in the breakdown of Haem, which mainly occurs in macrophages of the liver, spleen, and bone marrow. The enzyme Haem oxygenase catalyzes the reaction. It acts on Haem in the presence of oxygen and NADPH. The Haem ring is opened, which converts Haem into bilirubin, which is a green pigment. During this process, three important things are produced. Bilirubin, the green pigment, later converted to bilirubin, iron, Fe2+, released and reused in the body for new RBC production. 3. Carbon monoxide, a small amount produced and released. This is the rate-limiting step in heme breakdown. It's also the only step in the body that produces monoxide naturally.
So I'm here to present some bilirubin to bilirubin. The diagram below illustrates how bilirubin is being converted to bilirubin. So as we can see on the slides, old red blood cells are broken down into Haem, and this Haem is then converted into bilirubin, which is a green pigment. This bilirubin releases iron and carbon monoxide. It's then converted into unconjugated bilirubin through a reduction reaction, which is catalyzed by the enzyme bilirubin reductase. In this process, bilirubin, which is the green pigment, is then reduced using a NAD as a cofactor, forming the unconjugated bilirubin, which is the yellow pigment. This unconjugated bilirubin, which is the yellow pigment, is less polar and also fat soluble. This cannot dissolve into the blood.
Transport in the blood. Bilirubin is not water soluble. Therefore, it requires specialized transport protein to move from the spleen to the liver. This specialized transport protein is called the albumin carrier, where bilirubin binds non-covalently to albumin, the most abundant protein in human plasma. By binding to albumin, the toxic bilirubin is kept in the vascular space and prevented from diffusing into sensitive tissues like the brain. In this state, it is called the bilirubin-albumin complex because this complex is too large to pass through the glomerular basement membrane in the kidneys. Unconjugated bilirubin is not excreted in urine.
And so I'm talking about the conjugation of bilirubin in the liver. Now, the first point in the liver, bilirubin becomes soluble. We all know that when the cells break down, the bilirubin release are free bilirubin. That means that they are unconjugated bilirubin. So they have to be conjugated, or they have to be soluble before they can be transported as bile or secreted as bile. So to make them soluble, it has to combine in the hepatocytes of the liver. It has to combine with glucuronic acid, and then after it has combined to glucuronic acid, the enzyme uridine diphosphate, which is the glucuronal transferase, acts as an enzyme that will transport it. Now, the resulting molecule is called conjugated bilirubin, and because it is now water soluble, it can easily be secreted into bile and move into the intestine for excretion. So that means that now the main function of the job of the liver is to convert the bilirubin into water soluble form so that it can be easily excreted into bile.
So under excretion and intestine, the first point is conjugated bilirubin enters the bowel. So after bilirubin is processed in the liver, it becomes conjugated bilirubin. The liver attaches glucuronic acid to bilirubin. Like, that's a process called conjugation. This makes it easier to excrete. The conjugated bilirubin is then secreted into bile, which flows through the bile duct. Now we move to the second point, which is moves to intestine. Now the bile duct containing the conjugated bilirubin is released into the small intestine, which is known as the duodenum. This usually happens during digestion, especially after eating fatty meals. From there, it passes along the intestines. So the third point, which is bacteria converts it to urobilinogen. So like in the large intestine, normal gut bacteria acts on conjugated bilirubin. They convert it into urobilinogens. So like what happens next to urobilinogens? Some is reabsorbed into the bloodstream and goes back to the liver. Now, a small amount goes to the kidneys and is excreted in urine as urobilin. Like that's what gives the urine its yellow color. And also, like, most stays in the intestine and is converted to stecobilin, which gives to its brown color.
Final products and clinical significance. So some of the final products include urobilinogen. So urobilinogen, as you all know, is formed in the intestine from bilirubin metabolism. After bilirubin reaches the gut, bacteria convert it to urobilinogen. Also, urine. A small amount of urobilinogen is reabsorbed into the bloodstream. It travels to the kidney and is excreted in urine. In urine, it is oxidized to urobilin, which gives urine its yellow color. Also, feces is also a final product. Like, majority of urobilinogen stays in the intestine. It is converted into stecobilin. Stecobilin is responsible for the brown color of feces. So about the clinical significance, high bilirubin causes jaundice. When bilirubin level rises in blood, it leads to jaundice. This causes yellowing of the skin and eyes, that's chlorella. Also, it indicates liver or blood problems. Abnormal bilirubin or urobilinogen levels suggest liver diseases such as hepatitis, cirrhosis. Also, hemolysis, that's excess breakdown of red blood cells. Also, bile duct obstruction. Bilirubin cannot reach the intestine if bile duct obstruction occurs. Thank you.
Yeah, my members, thank you.